All right, I got to show you some stuff I got for Christmas.
All right, roll it out.
Check out this guy. Check it out.
That's pretty sweet, man.
And he came with a bunch of weapons.
A bunch
So,
of weapons.
yeah. So all my other little Ewok figurines that I have now all have weapons.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's cool. All right. That's him. Of course, I already have my shirt. But check this out. New shirt.
So,
Yeah. How about that? Ah, I got some other things too, but one of them is an Ewok board game. It's so fun. So fun. And the other one is an Ewok village that you get to decorate.
oh, nice. I was wondering what that was. When I
Yeah.
first seen that, I thought it was like a board game, and I got excited, but either way, that's
Okay.
still cool.
You should stay excited. I
Okay.
have a board game.
You have a board game. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah. When we see each other, we can play it. All right. It's quite fun. You can only be, you're so supposed to only be between 5 and 10 years old to play it. But it's fine. We're still going to play
It's
it.
right up our alley.
Yeah. It's perfect age range for us.
Yes.
Um, okay. One other thing, two things, two things I need to show you. One of them I didn't even want to show you until I saw you, but um, it's the Ewok outfits, like the actual Ewok, the Ewoks.
Yeah.
Um, apparently, they cut fur off of like the suits that they wore in the movies,
Yeah.
and they put them in little capsules, and they have like certificate of authenticity. So now I have like actual like Ewok fur in it, like this movie case
Yeah.
with this certificate. It's so freaking dope, man. I don't know why I didn't bring it in. I don't know why I didn't bring it to show you. But then I have one
Yeah.
other piece of art. Okay,
Okay.
and then I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk about some things for Christmas. But I got this piece of art and I love it. Okay. Here we go.
As he slowly unrolls it. What is this? Okay, so far I can't. Oh my gosh, man. That's so cool, dude.
Check that out.
That's one of the best like meme pictures ever.
This is a magnificent piece of art, and I'm just trying to figure out where to hang it. It's like
What is it
it's
made out of?
it's like a vinyl.
Oh man.
Feel it, feel it, feel it.
Eh, eh.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. It's vinyl.
Dude, that's so good, man. I'm jealous. I'm officially jealous.
That thing is so freaking cool. I cannot wait to hang it up. So anyway, that's just a few things. So that's what did you get?
I got a bunch of stuff. I mean, when I say a bunch of stuff, but of course, this sign behind me, which is backwards on the Discord, but it's lights up and all that jazz. It's good for the stream. Um,
I love that. I love that sign though.
I do too, man. Felicia, my wife, she did so good
My wife.
picking it out for me. Um, and then got this cup. Of course, being a Nebraska
Yeah.
fan, is a solid cup. I love this side the most. And I need to drink more water, so it has caused me to start drinking more water. Uh,
Okay.
got me these. Hold on.
Oh, dude, those are some souped up dad shoes. Holy cow.
They Nebraska. They're from the Nebraska athletics shop, and then
Oh man,
these other
those are way
ones.
cooler than
These other
dad
ones
shoes.
say Huskers on the back. So like full blown
Hmm.
Nebraska Adidas shoes to go with my
Those
obsession.
are those are dope. That's really cool.
And then the other thing I got was a golf net, like a net that I can keep in my yard that's like, I don't know, like maybe 8 to 9 feet wide by like 6 feet tall. And I can just like hit real golf balls into it with any club I want in my yard and not have to worry about
Uh
like,
huh.
going to a golf course to practice hitting some shots or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Nice.
And my sister, being the awesome person she is, made me a I'm famished snack uh bin just like for Christmas. It's just full of like snacks. So it
Nice.
was really sweet of her, and like she was like, I figured I'd go with something that goes with the trend of your stream of you being I'm famished, and every now and then you may want to
Yeah.
snack and you want to snack while you're streaming. So that was
That's right.
super sweet of her and a great thought. Got it,
Dang.
got it here somewhere in the room,
Mm.
but I won't. It's a wicker basket that's I don't know about 6 inches
Yeah.
deep by I don't know a foot wide.
That's really cool. Mm.
But
Oh
I
shoot.
know I'm forgetting something. I'm sure I got other things. I'm just not thinking of them right. Other than that, it was mostly just focusing on the kiddo and making sure she had a good Christmas and the wife had a
Hmm.
good Christmas and you know
Yeah.
did the whole jewelry thing this year. Got a couple things of jewelry for the
Oh,
misses.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, one of them is like a necklace that has you know first daughter's birthstone in it, and then the it actually has our soon to be second daughter's birthstone and name on it, like all in one necklace, like two hearts, like intertwined with both of their names and both of their
Uh-huh.
birthstones. Since we
Well,
kind since we kind of know,
as
like the only thing that would mess it up is if like the missus goes into like labor early, but
mhm.
we have she has to have a C-section either way, so we have a pretty good idea of what month she's going to be having the baby, but there is still a chance
Yeah.
that it could get messed up, you know.
I was gonna say as long as the baby cooperates.
But hey, if it happens, okay, that's no big deal. I'll just buy another one. I'm not worried about it. I mean, I am worried about it, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it is what it is. You only live once. Money is not going to go with me to my grave, so might as well just either go pay to
Yeah.
have a different stone put in, or just get her another one.
Yeah, man. That's really cool. We stuck with a lot of sports theme this year. So we stuck with our favorite sports team. So my wife got a lot of stuff of that, a jersey, some shirts and that. And then we had this got this like custom made blanket that's got like pictures of the family all over it.
Oh,
It
nice.
says like real sweet, like really sweet things on it and things like stuff like that. So
That's awesome.
um yeah, so I think those are all the highlights probably. Yeah,
Well,
but
speaking of highlights,
yeah.
welcome to the Seamless Across Platforms podcast, where we talk about life, fanatics, and gaming. And we have a highlight of a past like week or so of something that we kind of dabbled in the last podcast episode where we talked about the upcoming college football playoff and Florida State being snubbed out of the playoff. And I guess we'll start with you. What's your immediate reaction to the outcome of the Georgia FSU game?
Expected.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm going to say something here that I think plays into mindset of the two programs. And I may not say it politically as politically correct as some people may want, but this is it. Okay, you have here two pictures. One is a program that hit the victim mentality mindset, and the other one hit the we're going to still take pride in who we are mindset.
Yeah.
And so you had leaders, you had leaders from Georgia speaking out, talking about how they were opting into the game. They would be there.
Yeah.
Maybe they had some injuries, but they were there. They would play. You had the opposite on the other end. You had kids from FSU who I'm absolutely sure there were however many kids are on that team. I'll bet you there were dozens of kids who were so happy to be in a major bowl game, who are living their dream of playing college football
Yeah.
and who went out there, gave it everything they had. And at the end of the day, their stars weren't there, whether it was through injury with the quarterback, whatever, or other players, probably a lot of starters in different positions. I think I saw a stat where there was 27 players that opted out or couldn't play for FSU.
Right.
But at the same token, there were 27 players for Georgia that couldn't play either, but they weren't superstars opting out.
Right.
So expected.
Yeah.
And um I hope that I don't even know who the coach for Florida State is. I don't even know his name.
Mike
But
Norvell.
I hope that okay, so I hope that what he's building, um, I hope that culture continues to ingrain and they can do something different moving forward. And but I so at the end of it, my word was expected.
Yeah. And I have similar notes that I put down, being that I wasn't surprised. But I will say that I feel like a lot of these opt outs were emotional decisions that I think down the road later in these young men's lives are probably going to look back on it and be like, I should have played in that game. Especially when they see what their brothers had to go through with the final score being 63-3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because what did they prove by doing that? They proved nothing.
yeah,
They threw a temper tantrum.
they kind of left their teammates out to dry a little bit in my point of view on it. It could have definitely been a different game if Florida State starters did not opt out the way they did. I still think the outcome was going to be a Georgia win, and I really think it was going to be a Georgia win by at least 2 touchdowns. But um, you never know. You never know, and unfortunately, nobody will ever know if Florida State could have hung in there against Georgia because, unfortunately, I think some emotional decisions were made to not play in the game. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
sucks. Back to what we talked to before, it sucks that they were left out of the playoff, but they had a chance to prove a lot of people wrong, and they decided not to do it. So
Yeah. Um, I think I think the head coach for Georgia had a really good press conference afterward where he was just saying that people need to look at this. Look what happened,
yeah,
and from the results, and from like you said, decisions that were made based on circumstances that are created with the rules.
yes,
So
yep,
anyway, I also think those comments come a little too late because next year there's going to be a 12 team playoff, right?
yep,
They're going to 12, right?
mm-hmm,
So what is the 13th team going to do? Are they going to opt out of playing in some kind of game? I don't know. How deep can you go where people want to stick it to the man or say this isn't fair, boo hoo me?
yeah.
How far can you go?
I think the difference will be
It's ridiculous.
I think the difference will be at 13th. People are just gonna be like, yeah, whatever, shut up. You're 13th,
Yeah, and
like get out of here.
they should because look, I think outside of four teams, nobody really has a chance to win the national championship. There are
Yeah,
only two or three teams every year that are good enough to win it by the end of the season.
yeah,
And I think you may have some anomalies with this 12 team playoff. Where did Georgia fall to in the rankings? What, sixth?
6th.
What were
Yeah,
they? Sixth?
they were 6th
Okay.
before their game
That
against FSU.
if the 12 team playoff were to have happened, would they have still fallen to sixth? Because the committee wouldn't have had to worry about putting Bama in, and because of that, Texas has to go in, and Florida State's out.
Yeah,
They wouldn't. I don't know that they would have fallen to sixth. They would have moved to what, fourth?
yeah,
Alabama maybe would have moved to third, and they would have said, "Who cares? They'll jump Texas because look at this team they beat."
yeah.
Right? That
So
so.
So with
Uh,
that comment, it's
I
kind of
it,
like you're saying there's obviously some bias in this decision.
there has to be
Yeah.
because there's politics in it. There's bias in it.
Yeah.
Once you get to the 12 teams, it's not going to matter anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, and outside, I don't know how many years it's going to take for a team ranked sixth or lower to win the national championship in that tournament. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It won't happen. This would have been an anomaly year where the sixth ranked team, Georgia, actually could have won the national championship,
Yeah.
right? They could have done it, but you're not going to have team the seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever, right? You take, what is it, the top 11 and then the best non power five team or something. I don't know what they do. But are you kidding me? SMU or Liberty would have been in that tournament. They can't
Mm.
win.
No, they would have been
Okay.
awful.
I know my buddy Buckshot that we do a lot of streaming with is going to kill me for this, but Penn State would have been in that tournament. They can't win the national championship. Okay.
They may have gotten through
Um,
the the first wave, but then once they would have got up
oh,
against one of the
sure.
top
They're
four
good.
teams, it would have been unfortunately over with at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. That's a great team.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a national championship. You're
Yeah.
talking about the very best of the best. And there's only four programs every year that could even compete for it. And by the end of the season, there's always only two or three that really can stand a chance to win it, right? And
Yeah.
everybody can call it. And there's debates about it all the time just to try to make content, but everybody already knows who the dominant teams are.
Yeah.
So I don't know. To me, it's all just crazy. And one of these times, I mean, I got to, I just think there should be a new program. You know me, I got my whole theory
Yeah.
on promotion and relegation for college football.
Yeah.
There's some people that have been pretty close to my theory that have posted out there. I think they're missing a level. Some of them, they talk about having East and West and Central divisions. Out in the East, there should be, a first, second, and third division. And Central, there should be a first, second, and third division, whatever, right? That's cool for promotion and relegation through the conferences. You win the second division, you're going to the first division. You get last place, you're going down to the second division, whatever. I got a ton of details. That I think that's a whole pot in of itself,
Yeah.
and I think I I really want to take the time to discuss that post national championship
Yeah.
once we've had time to decompress and talk about. They're never going to do it, but I think if you're making these changes, people are paying millions of dollars to change conferences anyway.
Yeah.
So there's always a way to have this balance to bring more interest to mediocre teams. But at the end of the day, 12 teams next year in this tournament, there won't be a 12 seed win. This isn't basketball. Okay. This isn't a Kemba Walker can take UConn, a one man show, and win the national championship back when he did it years and years ago. This is different.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um,
we'll definitely have
that's that.
our next one of our next two episodes. We'll definitely deep dive into that idea that you have. Well, let's talk about the things that they can fix next year. And I think that there's two things that they need to fix for sure next year. One of them being the most important, they need to push back the transfer portal to after the national championship. There should not be transfer portal going on right now because like a lot of Georgia's opt outs were transfer portal, and
Hmm.
Florida State even had a good chunk of transfer portal. That needs to go out the window. Like that needs to be pushed back. I think they need to fix that by next year. The other
Yeah.
thing that I really think that they should look at very seriously is something along the effects of, and this is something I thought about really hard about, and I'm sure this will be something that may never happen, but when it comes to NIL, these guys that are accepting NIL to play at these schools, I feel like there should be some kind of contract agreement where if you're healthy and you're able to play in your team's bowl game and you accepted NIL, you should have to play in your team's bowl game. There should be
Yeah.
minor exceptions. Exceptions being obviously that you're injured and you can't play, or like you legit have something in your contract because you're like an elite player like a Marvin Harrison Jr. and it's your senior season, then
Hmm.
maybe you work out a deal with your contract that says that you're allowed to opt out, but that has to be like that doesn't happen very often.
But where do the contracts come from? I mean, the NIL is not the school.
Right. So
So are you are
it
you,
would be a contract between like whoever is funding the NIL for the athletes. So for instance, the team that I
so the bill?
follow,
Okay.
Nebraska, they have an NIL like called the 1890 Initiative that does a lot of the NIL deals for the student athletes at Nebraska. And we're talking across the board, women's sports, men's sports, all of it. They cover a lot of NIL deals for these players. And they're one of the big reasons why we've been able to pick up some big recruits recently because they go out and they get the NIL for these athletes and then they work out the contract. I'm sure there's some kind of contract stuff behind scenes with this, with agents and stuff. But I just really feel like, you know, not just your idea, but like also like there's got to be a way to tell these young men that like if you're going to accept money to play at this school, money that is invested for you to come play at this school, like you should play in your bowl game unless you're just injured or like I said, there's just an exception. And I'm getting kind of on a tangent with it, but uh,
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's fine because I don't know where those. I mean, yeah, maybe the contract might work, maybe, maybe not. I don't even know if they would legally be allowed to do it, to say that. And then you can't put it in a scholarship because then these high profile kids, they're just going to stop accepting scholarships.
yeah.
They're just going to be like, nah, I don't need it. I'm going to have all this NIL money anyway. Who
Well,
cares?
Nebraska
So,
and a lot of schools are already doing this kind of stuff. So, like for instance, and I could be wrong about some of this because I'm not super familiar with all this, but I have heard conversations of where there's certain players that would be on scholarship on the team and they take them off scholarship and say, you're off scholarship now, but you're getting this NIL money to cover your schooling, your housing, whatever, and whatever extra chunk change you get from this NIL. So school's still going to be paid for. And guess what? This school now frees up a scholarship that they can give to another athlete by doing
yeah,
that.
yep. So long to the walk-ons.
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna slowly become a thing of the past.
No,
And Scott,
if anything, NIL is going to cause more walk-ons to happen because these walk-ons are now getting money, NIL money.
no, they wouldn't be able to compete. You getting scholarship players recruited in, so they're scholarship caliber, and then you're taking them off scholarship anyway. So I mean, forget about the some of the it would be rare, right? The rare walk on would make it because now walk ons aren't competing against other walk ons and these really other non scholarship players. They would be competing against players who were good enough to have a scholarship, who just said, "Nah, we're going to do this so we can beef up our roster and we can have every single player on our team scholarship caliber, but they're not on it because their school's getting paid for anyway." I think it would make it harder.
I mean, I think there's things involved in this that also like affects like the player limit on the teams and stuff like that. I don't know all the rules around that, but I feel like there's some kind of like weird way to get around some of this with how they're doing the scholarships and NILs.
Uh,
Um, And
I'm sure.
I don't know. All I know is from the team that I follow. And the team that I follow, Nebraska has a lot of walk-ons. And a lot of those walk-ons get NIL. It may not be a lot.
Hmm.
It may not be a lot, but they're getting some kind of NIL. And which is better than being
Yeah.
a walk-on, paying for your own school, getting a full-time job. Some of these guys now, may only have to worry about getting a part-time job or, not a
Yeah.
job at all because they are getting some form of NIL from the school.
I I agree. I mean, look, as far as the issues that come about all this, there are certainly benefits to it. There are some kids who are going to get certain things out of it that they never would have been able to before, right? And it's going
Yeah.
to be feel good stories and it's going to be positivity. And that's great. And ultimately, I'll bet you more stories are positive of kids getting wonderful impacts of things that they deserve and never would have gotten before.
Yeah.
The problem is that um, it's always loudest at the top. The most high profile stories are getting the attention,
Yeah.
and many times it's around negative connotation. Um, but I'll bet you if we dug up a bunch of stories on positive NIL impacts, I bet you we find a whole lot more than what we think. You're absolutely right. It's probably a lot more good things, but
Yeah.
there are just problems with the structure overall to
Yeah.
hold
It's a
kids
mess.
accountable.
It's a mess.
It's a total mess, and they just need to separate. And we'll discuss more of that later. But
Yeah.
I mean, look, at the end of it, there are some schools where all the players are playing. And there were four of them as of yesterday.
Yeah.
We're all playing. So you want to get into it?
Yeah.
I
Let's
mean, did we not bury the lead here? College football playoffs actually being played, four
yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
So um, I do want to say that since the launch of our podcast, I am 100% on my predictions. So once I get one wrong, I probably won't bring it up. But for now, I'm 100%.
Yeah. I don't remember what I predicted for these games, but I feel like I predicted a Michigan win and I feel like I predicted a Washington win, but I could be I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think we ended up on the same page. So
Yeah.
you probably are too.
So let's start Michigan,
Yeah.
Alabama. Michigan 27 to Bama 20. What are your initial thoughts?
Hmm.
Let's roll through this.
Okay. I think that anybody hearing this should go back and listen to the first pod because once you hear it, the words that came out of my mouth are exactly what happened. Michigan went against big physical teams all year long. So they were not going to wear down late. They were not going to be pushed around the whole game. And
Yeah.
they were going to be able to hang with whatever big men Alabama could put up against them.
Yep.
And it's exactly what happened.
Yep.
They never got worn down. They hung in and they got through that line so many times. That Alabama quarterback was just, I mean, his shirt was full of grass stains.
Mhm.
So for as competitive as it was, they are both wonderful, like fantastic football teams.
Yes.
But um, Michigan was just, they were not going to be outmatched because they went up against as big and as strong and physical players that Alabama could throw at them all year. And they were never going to be intimidated by it.
No.
And that running back they got made, I mean,
That's what
what
I
a
was gonna
difference maker.
say. I feel like the last pod, that was what I said was, mark my words, Blake Corum is going to be the
Like
difference for
Corum.
Michigan this year in the playoffs. They did not have
And
him
he will have,
last year. He was injured in the playoffs last year, and I honestly think Michigan would have been in the title if it wouldn't have been for Blake Corum being out. And
mm-hmm.
he had just a stud of a game. Like it wasn't
Yep.
eye popping stats. He was 19 for 83 yards and one touchdown, averaging 4.4 yards a carry. And that's not like eye popping stats, but against Bama in the playoffs, and he made plays when they needed it at the end.
Yeah.
The guy's a stud, and
Yeah.
he's the difference maker for Michigan in this
Yeah.
playoff.
Yeah. Some of the things that he did, I don't think are measured.
No. Mm-mm. So I'm right there with you. This game went exactly how I thought it would go. I thought it would be a slugfest. I thought it would be a battle of the men down in the trenches. And I had a feeling that it was going to slowly but surely start to tilt towards Michigan late in the game once they started leaning on Blake Corum. And it went exactly how I
Mm-hmm.
thought it would go. I did,
Yeah.
I do have to say that JJ McCarthy also had a solid game. 17 to 27, 221 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He protected the
Mm-hmm.
football. Protected the
Yep.
football,
He did
did his
exactly.
job.
Yep.
And
Yep. That's exactly what he's there to do.
Jalen Milrow, 16 of 23 for 116 yards, no touchdowns, and he carried the ball 21 times for 63 yards. So it definitely looked like Alabama was getting a little too one-dimensional and didn't have an answer to get the passing game going. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's a stud, but I mean, Michigan's secondary held strong, right? Bend didn't break,
Yep.
especially at the end. I mean, right there. I mean, last, so
Yes.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, they didn't break on him, and so it wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, I think that game went. You're right, it went exactly how we thought it would, and Michigan came through. So, and there was no debate there. A great call.
Yes. And on to the next one. The one that I think I enjoyed the most. Washington, Texas ends with Washington 37, Texas 31. So take it away, buddy. What was your initial gut reaction to that game?
It went exactly the way I said it would go. Um, so Texas, obviously, good football team. They're
Yep.
going to make plays, right? They're going to make plays, and we know that plays can be made against Washington
Yes.
because because Oregon did it, right? And so that's not a problem. But and Texas is a good team, so of course Texas is going to score points. But when you have a quarterback like Penix Jr. and you
Yes.
have a secondary coming out of the Big 12 like Texas, you are not going to stop him throwing. He had the game of his life. People are saying it was the game of his life. Can he replicate it? Well, no, he probably can't replicate it because Michigan's defense is going to wear down that offensive line,
Yep.
and they're going to get so as much or more pressure on him because whenever Texas was able to get pressure on him and roll him out of the pocket, there were a lot of incomplete passes. There were some big plays, but when you start to rush the quarterback so often, it's going to wear down on him. Michigan's going to be able to do that, but Texas couldn't do it as much, and their secondary again, it's a Big 12 defense, so he's going to be able to thrash it. There are
Yep.
going to be gaps, and it's exactly what he did. Do you have the stat line up for his throwing?
Yeah, in fact, I put on the notes for the game, Michael Penix Jr. Oh my, that's what I put on my notes from that game. 29
Yes.
of 38 passing for 430 yards and two touchdowns, and he
Hmm.
also had 3 carries for 31 yards total.
Yeah.
I
I mean, it was
mean,
predictable, man. Predictable. It's the defense that comes out of there. When I watched them play, and the reason that Texas was able to beat Alabama early in the season was because they had a different quarterback who was not able to throw and take advantage of that,
yeah,
right? So when you can take advantage of it, that's what's going to happen. Now, JJ McCarthy is not, you know, uh, I don't know if he's not Penix Jr. No, he's not, but he's going to take care of the football.
yeah,
So I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit into that game, but
that's okay.
this game is this Texas Washington game. I think it went exactly the way that we thought, and I could see it coming. With that secondary is going to be suspect, and it was, and he was able to have quote unquote the game a game of his life when a quarterback that's that good is going to do that against that defense, that
Yeah,
secondary. So, I mean, I even criticize. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma, so Sooners, but I even criticized their secondary, and I think they were number one or number two in the country in interceptions this year.
yeah,
So you don't have a bad secondary and have that many interceptions, but for some reason, there's always gaps. And when you exploit them, those Big 12 defenses, you can shred them. And Texas had the same thing. So that's
yeah.
my thought. So I'm sorry if I took all the steam there from you, buddy,
No,
but
it's okay.
I can see it from a mile away.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying. The other notes that I had on the game was Washington looked determined to win this game no matter what. Like the body language of Washington throughout this game, that's what I felt from it. Was this was a team out to prove something and they were going to win this game no matter what. And I feel like Texas was like they had a couple of moments where they had some chances for some really big plays and they just missed it. Like they just missed them, whether it was like, a pass that was just out of reach of a player or one tackle away, like one broken tackle away from making a big play. I feel like Texas was right there, and they could have possibly gotten some momentum and flipped this game if they could have hit a big play. But they just didn't have the determination. I feel like that just Washington was there. It was like they already had it won in their minds, in my opinion, like just the way that they were carrying themselves. So,
Hmm.
very exciting. I will say this too on your topic of secondaries in the Big 12. I do have to give credit to a lot of these Big 12 offensive coordinators and coaches and offenses, as well as what we've seen from the Pac-12 this year is very creative offenses in those leagues. Very creative with their routes that they have their receivers run, and I feel like those two conferences, that's one of the things that comes to my mind when I think about especially the Big 12 is their offensive coordinators and their quarterbacks and their wide receivers, they really come up with some really awesome just plans and routes, rub routes, whatever it may be, to just like exploit secondaries, and they do it better than some of it. Like I can't think of really Big Ten teams that super stick out to me as like doing those kinds of things, with the exception of maybe like Ohio State, maybe run some similar things like that. And then the SEC teams, like none of them really stick out to me as like obviously Georgia's done great recently, in Tennessee and Alabama. But man, when you think about Big 12 and Pac 12, I just got to say, like, kudos to those offenses. They get really creative to come up with some big shots.
Yeah. Well, careful in the future. People are going to say, "What's the Pac-12?"
Yeah, Pac 12 no more, man. A lot of them going to the Big 10. So we're going to,
Hmm.
which by the way, we're seeing now Michigan, Big 10, and Washington, future Big 10 team as of next year. So we got two Big
Yeah.
10 teams technically in the national championship game. And
Yep, that's true. So let's
stylistically,
advance.
this is going to be interesting, man. I really think that Washington. I'm gonna go ahead and take the reins here on my initial thought with this. Um, if Washington is going to win this game, they cannot wear out in the fourth quarter. They have to stop Blake Corum and make Michigan throw the ball. And Penix Jr. just needs to have another Heisman caliber game. Let's face it, this guy statistically and performance wise, everybody's been underestimating this kid because of the conference that he came from and the team that he's playing for. And he's proven to people that he should have really been seriously considered to be the Heisman Trophy winner this year. And that's not to take away from LSU's quarterback, who is incredible. I just think that Penix is he's putting his foot down and drawing a line in the sand right now and saying, like, I'm him, you know? And if he has another baller game, protects the football like he did, and then Washington can stop Blake Corum, that's perfect scenario for Washington. And I think they come out on top in a close game. The other hand,
But
if
that's not a is that a prediction, or are you just saying in this perfect world?
in this perfect world, if
Okay,
Washington can
alright.
stop Blake Corum, Penix Jr. protects the ball and has another Heisman caliber game, and they don't get worn out by the fourth quarter in the trenches, Washington will win by 3. Best case scenario for Washington,
Okay.
3 to 7 point
Mhm.
win. Realistically, I think Michigan wins this game. I think Michigan wins it with wearing them out, protecting the football, and shoving it down their throats in the fourth quarter with Blake Corum. I think if Michigan
Yeah.
can get to the fourth quarter and it's like, I don't know, Michigan's got a 3 point lead, 7 point lead, or even if it's tied going into the fourth quarter, I think Michigan should wear them out and win it by
Mhm.
at least 7.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I just I think it could there's a potential that it stays close for a while just because Penix Jr. is so good, right?
Yep.
He may make some plays here and there,
Yep.
but I just think all game he's gonna be chased, That line is going to wear down over time. And in that fourth quarter, that line is going to be exhausted. He is going to be chased down. They're not going to have a running back that's going to be able to run through it. And Michigan is just going to continue to be all over them because yes, Penix is going to make plays, but Michigan's secondary is better.
Yeah.
They're not going to allow as many. And while he's being chased against bigger, maybe not faster, but I mean bigger, like more physical guys, who are going to wear down his line, and then he's going to try to throw it on the run against a secondary that's better than the one he just faced.
Yeah.
And it's not a great combination whatsoever. Michigan's got the strength, they've got the stamina, they've got, like you said, the running back that can take them and secure the ball game. Um, I just I don't know, man. I literally could see this being a 21, 28 point victory for Michigan.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think they could pull away. All kudos to Washington, very good team. Like you said, I mean, there's a world where they can pull this off. There's a different world for everything,
Yeah.
and with a quarterback who's that good, if they hit Michigan early on a few big plays and they surprise them, yeah, they could absolutely take this game into the fourth quarter and have a chance. But ultimately, I just think physically on the line, the secondary, and then the running game,
Yeah.
I just think Michigan is just going to control every aspect of the game. There's going to be sequences where Washington looked good, but when you step back from the whole game and you look at the whole totality, you're going to see a Michigan controlled football game.
Yes. Yeah. I agree, man. I agree. I mean, I'm going to be pulling for Washington. I'm going to be rooting for Washington in this game. I would just love to see
It would
him
be
win it.
cool. It
But
would be really cool.
I will just add one extra note. I really can't think of a quarterback quite like Penix Jr. that Michigan has had to go up against this year, with the exception of maybe Tagovailoa from Maryland. You know, as a skilled passer and dual threat caliber, you know, like even Ohio State, and this is not to knock on them, but their quarterback McCord was just more of a game manager and protect the ball. He wasn't really this like elite Heisman caliber kind of, you know, gunslinger slash have the capability to
Yeah.
tuck it and run if he needs to. So this will be a little interesting to see how Michigan holds up to it. Will they bend and not break like they did against Alabama? And you even look at Alabama, like Alabama's quarterback, he hasn't really been touted as like this amazing pocket passer this year. You know, like he's obviously super talented, but this is going to be something different for
Yeah.
Michigan. So I honestly think this game's going to be closer than expected. I think it's going to be closer than expected, and there's definitely a world where it could go either way. But if I were to put
Yeah.
my chips in the center of the table right now in this conversation with how I'm feeling about everything with you, I think my chips would go towards Michigan winning it by at least 3. But
So you say they're going to win it by at least three, less than 12.
at least 3 less than 12, I think Michigan wins it. If I were to put
Okay.
my chips on the table right now, yes.
Then and I go Michigan wins it more than 12.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
it's going to be
So
interesting and fun to see,
that's where
man.
you got to go.
It's going to be fun to see,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to come back and talk about that and
Yeah.
see how it turns out. And go Huskies, man.
I
I hope they
can't.
win it.
It, I think it would be really cool to see him win. I really do. Like we're being very logical with our picks, but
Yeah.
like there's the what you think and there's the what you feel, and I seriously am cool with this going either way, but it would
Yeah.
really be neat to see Washington, who I think this is their second appearance in the playoff. I think they snuck in one other time.
Yeah.
um I mean, it's just a cool thing to see something different, and kind of the underdog. Who doesn't like a good underdog story?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Gonna be fun,
but
man.
anyway, yeah. So with that, I think this is maybe, if you're finished talking about that, um, we can start the transitioning out into what are we doing? What are we playing? Because I mean, we're podcasters, right? We love sports. We're
Yeah.
fans, but we're still gamers too. So, um, how's it going over there on Kick for you, bud? I know that's where you're streaming right now. So, what's going on? You had any accomplishments recently? How's it going?
It's going all right. With like the holidays and everything, and then I got like super sick with a really bad cold. I kind of, haven't been streaming as much as I wanted to. A lot of it was really, some of it was like expected time away from the stream because of the holiday and being with family and all that. But there was also at least like 2 or 3 days of streaming that I wanted to do that got messed up because of just being terribly sick. But when I have been on recently, it's mostly been, playing silly games like Fall Guys and Fortnite. Just is just like lighthearted, fun games to play. I I know we've mentioned it before that I was dabbling in Fortnite, and it's been a lot more fun than what I thought it was going to be. I mean, I've played it before and I've had good time playing it before, but I'm actually starting to reach that point where I really want to get better at the game and not just get on just to goof around. Like I actually want to be competitive in it. So that's one thing I'm working on. But then the other thing that I did was I finally beat the forest, which was really fun and interesting to do. I was not expecting the ending to be the way it was. Glad I got that knocked out of the way so I could finally start playing Sons of the Forest on stream. And though the viewership hasn't been very high, this is 2024 and it's time to grind, man. It's time to stream as much as I can. I'm trying to get to a Monday, Wednesday, and either Friday or Saturday streaming every evening Eastern Standard Time. And in the meantime, anytime I stream, I just kind of go through my clips and find something that looks, fun or funny or scary or whatever it may be that happened to me during a stream, and I try to make YouTube clips from it and throw it up on YouTube. And
Hmm.
I've gotten some good
You
responses
got,
from some Fortnite clips. So
yeah, you got a couple of them. I think they hit over 1,000 views, didn't they?
yeah, which to like a big YouTuber, that's not a lot, but for somebody that's only been
Who
doing this
cares,
for like
man?
a month, man, like that means the world
We,
to pull that up and see
yeah,
that you got over 1,000 views on something. It's just like, man,
yeah,
that's
man.
that's
Hey, if anybody hates on that, shame on them, dude. Like everybody started, right?
yeah,
Everyone started. So let's go, man. That's good.
got to dabble the toes in the water eventually, man, and that's
Yeah.
what's happening right
So,
now. So,
so you got subscribers or what is Kick? Is it followers, subscribers? What is it on Kick?
it starts with followers, and
Okay.
right
So
now
where are you at?
I am only at 17 followers right now, and I'm really, really. I've just been having like a goal of just trying to hit that 20 mark. So I'm right
Hmm.
there. Um, 20 isn't like to reach any kind of status with Kick or anything like that. I just, first starting out, I was like, let's just start with kind of like a low goal, see what happens. And we're almost at that 20. And then once we hit 20, my goal is to bump that goal mark to 75, because once you hit 75, then I'm affiliate on Kick, which just kind of comes with, some minor additional benefits that'll help. And then from there, it's the next horizon, the next goal from there, which I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but when I, just taking one step at a time. So hit 20, and then after I hit 20, it's time to bump it to 75 and push hard for 75 and go from there, man. So
Hmm. Yeah, rock on, dude. Well, I mean, look, I enjoy watching it, and so far the community over there seems like they want to help support each other.
yeah,
So there's
yeah,
been a lot of good people come in and out of the stream and say, "Hey, let me support you. You support me. We help
yeah,
out because we do that together. Myself with my Fighting Ewok page and my gaming stuff that I'll do, or my stupid shorts, which is kind of how it started. Um, that's what we do, though. We support each other and we promote each other, and so it's just it's just being positive and bringing that positivity and, like you said, the hard work into 2024, and you'll get it. You'll
yeah.
get it for sure.
Yeah, man, and just to piggyback on the community, it's definitely been a like a learning experience for me. the couple times of streaming and having people pop in and just being so nice and supportive and just being like, hey, like just a fellow streamer wanted to pop in and show some love and give you a follow and keep up the great work. Just positive, always positive comments from these people, and it means a lot, man. And it just made me realize, like, when I have free time, I want to do the same thing. And I know I've gotten on to a couple of channels now and just kind of thrown in some positive comments and told them like, hey, just another streamer showing support, and it's really awesome to see people do that, man. And like, I know that when I've done it to the few people that I've done it for, they were very appreciative of it as well. I've actually found a pretty cool guy on Kick that I shared with you, and I've watched. He's even got a YouTube channel and stuff. And gosh, it's killing me. I don't remember the name of his gamer tag to share it with everybody right now. But on the next episode, I'll gladly have that prepared for everybody. But he's got some interesting clips on YouTube as well. I think he was like on Twitch, or he's also streaming on Twitch, one of the two, because a lot of times he has this little Twitch handle advertised in his clips. But anyways, it's just cool to network and work with other people that have similar goals that are really wanting to make something of this stuff. And with with us on that, I've taken way too much mic time, man. Like, how are things going for you over there on YouTube?
It's fine, man. So, um, we actually over the holiday we've solidified 1,200 subscribers. So,
Awesome.
and for us, it's I think followers are free on Kick, and then
Yes.
of course on YouTube it's subscriber. It's free.
Yes.
So so we're just right on 1,200. We're a few over, and so some great responses. And so right now, some of the newer gameplay that's going on is PlayStation One, uh, WWF SmackDown 2.
Had that
That's
disc
been
ready.
yeah, that's been the new game. So I got a PlayStation One memory card, which I had to use to play that game.
Yeah.
Um, so that's been what we've been utilizing. And so that's been a ton of fun. So I've got like watch along clips on there. And then I show highlight videos, like 1 minute clip highlights. So we do
Yeah.
that. That's been a lot of fun. We're still doing NCAA football, where I think we're into season 32 now.
Yeah.
And um, anyway, if we watch some of those more recent seasons, Buckshot, who streams over on Kick too, he's another guy we
Yeah.
do everything with here, and part of my family. And he was at my house for the last two couple of seasons, so that's pretty entertaining
Yeah.
from time to time.
I really
But
enjoyed those, by the way. I think that's been some of the best videos, like you finally getting Buckshot on your stream with you, man, and like watching. I think it was season 30 and season 31 of the NCAA was some of the best seasons I've gotten to
mhm.
watch. And obviously,
It-
part of it was biased because I had a good season with the team that is being simulated with me as their head coach, but um, also, I'm coming up there soon, buddy. Like, so we're gonna
ah,
get on a stream together, and I can't wait for that. I can't wait, man.
that's going to be freaking awesome. I cannot wait to hit some NCAA football, some streams.
Yes.
Maybe go live with it. Maybe record. I don't know what we'll do. Depends on the internet, but we'll get that stuff in. We'll make some videos. We'll do some probably WWF, a few matches on there, maybe streaming. But anyway, that's man, it's just so fun. I cannot wait. So, uh, you guys are going to be up here in 2 weeks,
I think it's 2 weeks. Yeah.
about
Yeah. Like
yeah,
couple weekends from now. Yeah.
yeah. So pretty close to someone's birthday, close to all of our birthdays
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And I have a gift for you, so I'll have to show you whenever you get here. I may have at least one, maybe two. Christmas,
Okay.
birthday, we'll see.
Yeah, I think
But
we're gonna be exchanging a lot, man, because we didn't get to see each other for the holidays, so it'll
yeah.
be a good time.
So anyway, I think we got through some life. Which, oh, by the way, I had to tell you this. This infuriated me today. This is completely off topic, and if you want to cut it, you can. Okay, but this kid, I walk into a gas station today. I got my work shirt on, okay, for the company I work for,
Hmm.
and uh, he says, "Hey, how do you like working there?" And I said, "Well, I mean, it's all right. I've worked there 13 years, and I had some promotions, whatever." So anyway, I said, yeah, man, it's all right. It's, it's work is work, right? Some days are
Yeah.
better than others.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, how much you make? And I was like, well, I don't really know. I mean, I'm not really comfortable telling you how much money I make, dude. Like, you just were like ringing up some stuff for me.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, is it at least this amount per week? And I was like, again, man, like, I don't know if, like, I'm going to tell you that, like, I have a, you know, middle management position, whatever you want to call it. I'm a supervisor, so
Yeah.
I was like, well, I've kind of worked my way up. So, like, I mean, yeah, that's a little pretty comparable once you work your way up to
Yeah.
what you're saying. But, and he was like, oh, okay, that's all I need to know. I mean, you should just be ashamed of yourself. I mean, people that work for you probably don't make anything. And, you're making whatever money I just asked you. Like, he starts like berating me, this cashier, and I'm not putting him down, but he's like, this is this new kid at this gas station, and he's like putting me down for like whatever money I make. And I'm like, dude, I started out in a position like you. I worked my way up because I wanted to make more money. What's your problem?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
starts berating me about how people underneath or that I supervise probably don't like make X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And like I was so taken back. Like usually I'm very passive, I don't say anything, but I'm like, dude, you're in over your head right now with what you're talking about. You have no clue about life, obviously, if you're starting to talk to me about that. Like, who are you even to get to come off on me? We've never even seen each other in our lives. Who
Yeah.
who are you to do this?
Yeah.
Oh, it set me off, man. Like, I
What wa
couldn't believe that.
what was his response to you saying that?
He just started talking about, oh well, maybe pay raises should be given. And and I said, look, again, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. You're in over your head right now. You have no clue. You're talking about pay raises for a company you have no idea about.
Yeah.
And you don't even know me. I said, you don't even know how much money people are making. And he starts saying, yeah, I do. It's this or that. And he was wrong anyway. He was low.
Yeah.
And
You should have been
and
like,
I, dude,
"Wrong?"
yeah,
Just
I would.
sitting
I
with the
was like,
wrong.
I said that's wrong. We pay more than that to people every day. Maybe we only offered you that because of your attitude.
Oh, you said that? Please tell me you said that.
I didn't say that, but
Oh,
I
dang
wish I
it.
did now.
Dang it.
But I did say I don't know what you were offered, but I mean, maybe you're making it here. I don't know, but dude, like I don't know where you get off talking to me about something you have no clue on. So
Yeah.
get back to your work, and I'll get back to mine. And if you want to make more money, why don't you go get a promotion?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
he just he just and he just turned around after I told him that, and I walked out. But I couldn't believe someone said that.
yeah. I mean, that's a great point though, man. Like that's I can think back to when I first started working, and it wasn't making good money. I wasn't making good money when I first started working, and if when I wanted to do something about it, like I busted my tail and was like, okay, what kind of advancement opportunities do I have with this company I work for? And I went after it.
Yeah,
I busted my ass. So
yeah. Man, anyway, I don't know what made me bring that up, but we got to wrap this thing up. But that was just, man, part of life, right?
yeah,
I mean, crazy. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I get people's frustrations to an extent, but at the same time, like
You're taking it
what?
out on me. You
Yeah,
have no clue who
that's
I am.
that was definitely uncalled for, man. That was definitely uncalled for.
None. What was that on the screen? Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know why, but there was a
It was like a
nice.
bubble. It was like a thumbs up bubble. What was that? Did I do that with my hand?
I don't know how that happened.
Oh, look, I did it again. Whoop. Do
Oh,
you see
cool.
it?
Yeah, like maybe like
What is that?
I don't know.
Magic.
Are you hitting something on your keyboard?
Whoa, fireworks. Nothing, dude. I'm on my phone. Look, my hands are all right here.
Oh, that's nice, dude. I don't think my computer will do
Matt,
that. You're making me look like an idiot.
magic. Look at this. Hey, yeah, cool. Thumbs up. I don't know how I did it, but
Yeah.
anyway, All right, well, cool. I think that's a good spot to end it.
Maybe we'll have to figure this out and come back to it. Maybe it's like some
Yeah,
kind of feature in the mobile version of Discord that we're
uh,
recording on.
yeah, maybe. Anyway,
Yeah,
I've had it. So,
yeah,
man, appreciate you talking to me on another pod,
yeah,
and I cannot wait to catch up with you again, bud.
yeah. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Seamless Across Platforms. I'm famished, and this is
Yep,
Fighting Ewok.
you got it, man. I
All right,
appreciate it.
see y'all. Peace.
All right, later.